We're at PAX East 2017, catching up on Dead by Daylight, a game that's been taking Steam by storm lately. People are playing it behind us here. What can you tell us of, for those who are unfamiliar with Dead by Daylight, how would you describe it in a quick way?
So, Dead by Daylight is a 1 versus 4 asymmetrical horror survival action game, let's say. There's a lot of stuff in there. It's a game where 4 players play as survivors who are stuck in a nightmare world, and they're being chased by a 5th player who's playing a nightmarish killer. The killer's trying to track all these survivors down, hurt them, put them on a hook, and sacrifice them to an entity that is running this nightmare world. The survivors have to repair 5 out of 7 generators that power up escape doors so they can get out. Now, if you do that, you get points, and you put your points into your fun progression system and come back and do it more, because you're trapped in there forever.
Sounds wonderful. So one of the beautiful things about the design of this is just how limited you are as a survivor. This is not a shooter. This is not a game where you're on the offense. This is, well, you are if you're the killer, but it's kind of interesting there how limiting the player is kind of making it more interesting in a way.
Absolutely. Survivor gets a really intense experience because they can't fight back against the killer. All you can do is run, and you're not faster than them either. Unlike what you might expect, the survivors are slower than the killers, so they have to use their situational awareness and their agility to survive.
It really becomes a game of knowing your environment, knowing how to exploit that.
Yeah. And it's a bit harder to know your environment when it's procedurally generated every single time. You can't memorize the location of the generators or the objectives or the escapes.
Big news, of course, is that it's also coming out on console. Seems like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a no-brainer. The reason why we waited is because it's a new IP. When we made Dead by Daylight originally with the crew at Behavior, we were like, let's try it at PC, let's see how good it does, and yeah, we did pretty well. So
we did pretty well.
And the console players have been dying to get a hold of the game.
Do you want to get a good stack of content out there as well? The game started with not that much content. Do you want to sort of build it up a little bit before console as well?
Well, we're actually, we started with 3 killers because we have we have a lot of different killers with different abilities. We launched with 3, and now we have 6. And there are more coming, so I can't say how many there'll be by the time it hits consoles.
And for consoles, we're currently looking into exactly how much content we're adding at launch, and it's just a question of making sure that we can get the game out on time, making sure that it works properly, and so on. And I'm happy to say that here at the show we're showcasing the PlayStation 4 version of the game, and it's working really brilliant. Yeah.
Speaking of that, what do you think? Do you think there's a difference to the console community for a game like this than to what the players there are on Steam?
I would say we don't know yet, because there's so few games like these out there. For me, Dead by Daylight is one of the first asymmetrical horror games I've ever seen, especially that I've managed to be this successful, and it's a real privilege for both us as a publisher, Starbreeze that is, and both for Behavior as a developer, so yeah, we'll see.
It is interesting because that asymmetrical thing was like all the rage a few years back. A lot of people tried it. Most didn't even get to finish their game and publish it. Some published it and it wasn't very successful. What do you think that the key to the success of this game is?
Well, we've been working on it for a long time. Before real development got started, we were prototyping all kinds of things to figure out how can we find the fun in this situation. So every detail, such as the fact that you can see behind us, survivors play from a third-person perspective, killers play from a first. It might even be backwards from what you'd expect, but we tested all of these things for a very long time before we settled on the mechanics we were going to do. I think pre-production was 5 years on this. It's a project that we've been dying to do for years and put everything we have into it.
And for us, it was when we met Behavior for the first time and we got to try the prototype that they made, it was a given for us. Yeah, it was so fun to play, and especially so what was unique for us and for this game in particular is that it was so fun to watch someone play. And that was the real kicker for us, that we had fun playing, but the people watching us, they had even more fun almost. Yeah.
So we touched upon the fact that you've expanded the game a lot since launch, and how do you look at the future of this game? Is it something that you want to continue to work on, and Like, is there an end in sight, or will it be like Payday 2 where there's no end in sight? Or
Honestly, I think we're going to keep doing this as long as we can. We love doing it, and we love watching people play it. I don't want to stop.
Yeah, we agree, and that's one of the reasons that we think this is such a great collaboration is because Behavior really took the lead on this game, right? They own the IP. This is their game. We're just supporting them, making sure we try to amplify their success as much as possible, and making sure we get as many gamers to play it as possible. And that's why we're getting it to consoles.
do you have any sort of inclination on when that might be?
Soon.
Soon TM. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much.